At the start of the film, we see 14 years old Roger returning home during his summer vacation. His mother sends one of her maids, Savita, to pick him up. Roger is intrigued by Savita's lively way of walking, and she, in turn, understands his intention but does not say anything. Slowly, they both walk toward the house, where Roger's family warmly welcome him. As the story unfolds, we learn that Roger has a sister, Bertha, who takes him on a walk through the forest. There, Roger once again meets Savita, who suddenly feels thirsty and starts watering the plants nearby. Roger, surprised by this, thinks to himself, "What in the world did I just see?" Afterward, while wandering in the forest deep in thought, Roger suddenly slips and falls into a nearby bush. There, he hears a girl laughing, looking around. He sees another maid from his home, Ursula, with a stranger in the forest. Ursula notices Roger and smiles, which startles him, causing him to hurry away from the scene. That night, after dinner, Roger heads to his room to sleep. Just then, he hears a noise outside his door. Stepping out, he sees yet another maid from the household, Helen, meeting someone behind the door. After quickly finishing her business, Helen adjusts her clothes and leaves. Roger tries to suppress his thoughts and goes back to sleep. Next morning, Bertha takes Roger to the riverside, where all the maids from their house and bathing and sharing their secrets. As the siblings are talking, all the household maids gather by the river, prompting the two to hide behind a tree. The maids are chatting among themselves when, on the other side of the river, 3 of the family's male servants appear. They have not only come to relieve themselves, but also to show off their tools to the maids across the river. Ursula, excited, also shows off her balloons, while Roger observes the entire scene from behind a tree. The next day, we see that Roger's older sister Elisa has come home with their father, and the entire family warmly welcomes her. Elisa hugs everyone, but she only says a brief hi hello to Roger before going inside, leaving Roger feeling disappointed by this lack of affection. Bertha notices his sadness and, to cheer him up, take him to a church, where they climb onto the roof to eavesdrop on their aunt, Margaret. Margaret is confessing her sins to the priest and tells him that she has committed a great sin. Margaret confesses that her nephew Roger has come to stay for summer vacation, and ever since she first looked at him, she has become infatuated with him. She even admits to engaging intimate moments with him. Roger listens to all of this from the rooftop, feeling a sense of validation that at least someone in the household thinks about him. While he is deep in thought, he suddenly slips and falls, revealing his presence. After this incident, Margaret and the priest tell Roger's mother everything. Upon hearing this, Roger's mother becomes very angry and instructs a servant to bring her the jad ki muthi, a type of tool or implement. She hands it to Margaret, telling her to give her Roger 10 hard slaps with it. Margaret then began spanking Roger 10 times with the tool, leaving his backside sore and red. Elisa's fiancé, Roland, arrived at that moment and quickly laughed at Roger's predicament. That night, after the spanking, Roger has to sleep on his stomach due to the pain. Then he hears the sound of dishes clattering, prompting him to go outside to investigate. This time, he sees Helen being grabbed by someone from behind. Thus, the identity of the mysterious Mr. India remains unknown. Alongside Roger, Frank is also enjoying these scenes. Determined to find out who this Mr. India is, Roger goes to Frank's room, where he finds Frank with his hand on a telescope, looking at the stars through the lens. Startled by Roger's sudden introduce, Frank quickly leaves the room. After Frank leaves, Roger takes a turn with the telescope, gazing at the stars and realizing that Frank is even more mischievous than he is. Then he notices an erotic book on the table, which he takes with him as he leaves. As Roger heads to his room, he hears strange noises coming from the outside his parents' room. So he tries to peek inside through the keyhole. But Roland catches him peeping. Roger begs him, "Please don't tell my parents anything about this. I will do as you say." But Roland refuses to listen to him. Roland angrily tells Roger's mother that he was peeping into their room last night. Hearing this, Roger's mother gets angry and asks him to leave the house. Roger then sees an opportunity and replaces his book of pornographic stories with his sister Elisa's book. Ursula sees that it is Roger, and she agrees to get close to Roger. But then, the other maid comes there, due to which Roger has to run away from there. After this, we see that postman comes there and shouts loudly that war has broken out. Actually, Germany has declared war on France. Hearing this, everyone gathers there, and the next day all the men of the village had to go to war. So Roger's family start partying at night, and when Roger comes to know that all the men of the house are going to war and all the women will be left alone, he is very happy inside. The next morning, all the men leave for the war. After this, Roger first traps Ursula in his trap. Ursula already liked Roger, so she gives him a green signal, and they both get intimate there. The next day, we see Roger's maid Katy, who is sitting on the bank of a river. Then Roger also comes out of the river and get intimate with Katy on the same river bank by trapping her in his words. Now Roger's confidence has increased, and he makes a plan to get intimate with all the women of the house. At night, we see Roger's Aunt Margaret going to sleep in her room, but she finds Roger already sitting in her room. Roger says, "I know you are a virgin, so I have come to help you." At first, Margaret refuses, but after a while, she cannot resist herself, and they both get intimate right there. Next, we see Helen, who comes near the door with tea and snacks. But this time, Mr. India is missing, as he too has gone to fight the war. So, with no other option, she goes straight to Roger's room, and Roger fulfills her desire. The next day, when Bertha and Roger are sitting in the garden, Roger's eye falls on her elder sister Elisa. He immediately goes to her and traps her too in his trap. At first, Elisa refuses, but due to reading pornographic stories, she too cannot resist herself, and they both get intimate right there. After this, we see all the women of the house line up and go to Roger's room and come out satisfied. Then one day, after spending time outdoor, Elisa tells Roger that she is pregnant. Roger panics. Then they both see Ronald boarding a plane and returning home. As the war is over and all the men have returned, Roger wonders how to get out of this situation. When Ursula comes and tells him that she is also pregnant. After a while, her aunt also comes and tells him that she is also pregnant. Roger then gets an idea and he goes to Elisa and says, "Please, seduce Ronald and somehow get intimate with him tonight." Elisa agrees. He then convinces Ursula to marry a servant. The next day, the three women get married together, and no one knows that Roger did. A few days later, Roger's summer vacation ends. As he prepares to return to his boarding school, Helen arrives and reveals that she is also pregnant. Roger says, "Don't worry, I will arrange a groom for you too." Helen says, "There is no need to for that. I will choose any one of the men here." The next morning, Roger leaves for his boarding school and the movie ends with this. Hi guys, thank you for watching this explained video. How do you feel about this story? Please write in comment. I hope if you are new on this channel, you maybe subscribe this channel for help me. Thank you all of you.